Well, welcome to our world. My name is Crystal Barrett O'Loughlin. I'm the founder and CEO of Raregivers, and I'm so excited to connect today with Jessica Patay, who is the founder and executive director of We Are Brave Together. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for having me today.
This is thrilling. This is a long time coming. We've known each other for years, and now we have the opportunity to partner. Can you introduce yourself, introduce your organization to our global community?
Sure. I am the founder and executive director of We Are Brave Together, like Crystal said, and um, we are passionate about supporting the mental health of caregiving moms. And so we define caregiving moms as moms to children, teens, or adults 0 to 65 with literally any diagnosis, rare disease, medical complexity, or mental health struggles. And what we are doing to support them is to offer connection circles, which is what we call our support groups. We offer them virtual and in person across the country. We put on low-cost weekend retreats so that moms can have access to a weekend off, connection, community, mental health education, and just some really much needed downtime. We also have a podcast called Brave Together Parenting Podcast. We're in our 8th season, and we've have a library of like 250 episodes with experts, with therapists, with coaches, with moms sharing their stories. And then most recently, our most recent offering is a book of caregiving stories called Becoming Brave Together: Heroic, Extraordinary Caregiving Stories from Mothers Hidden in Plain Sight. And I also have the joy and privilege of being a wife to my husband, Chris, for 28 years, and we have 3 kids, Luke, Ryan, and Kate. And I say that Ryan is the one who made me a caregiver. He was diagnosed with Prader-Willi syndrome when he was just 5 weeks old.
Gosh, okay, so I'm unpacking so much of this, right? So, first of all, the book is amazing. I was so fortunate to be able to attend your book launch, and I think you're working on a second version of that coming out. Okay, so if you're not following We Are Brave Together on social or you haven't visited their website, definitely do that so that you can get access to some of the messaging about that next book that's coming out. And also these amazing experiences of respite for moms. So, what made you decide in your caregiving journey to start this organization?
Well, I think a powerful shift that happened in me, and it took years, it took some therapy, it took time, was to shift from why me, why
Mhm.
Ryan, why us, to what now? What now? What can I do with this really crazy story and turn it into something beautiful and meaningful? And when you say what now, it really leaves you open to the answer. And the answer came in We Are Brave Together. I always knew I wanted to do something for caregiving moms. I just didn't know what that was going to look like. And then slowly but surely it came together. And we launched just with doing support groups in the South Bay in Southern California, and by doing one retreat per year. And we've just grown tremendously and what we've been able to offer thanks to so many donors and so much generosity to our organization.
That's amazing. And since that first retreat and that first care circle, um, talk about where you are now, because I know it's a pretty expansive network of moms.
Thank you. Thank you. So we represent all 50 states with our membership in 28 countries. So we just have hit over 3,500 moms in the community of We Are Brave Together. And we have connection circles across the United States that are virtual or in person. I think we're up to almost 35 leaders. And most of our connection circles are by geography, but sometimes it's by topic. So we have a virtual group for moms who have kids 22 and older, because 22 is a critical milestone in that kids age out of the school district. And the adult life is a whole different world from when your child is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and in the school district and in a very structured plan for many years. For example, we have another group that's topical, open to anyone, anywhere, and it's for moms who have kids with behavioral struggles, a real need. And so our groups are formed because moms step up and say, oh my goodness, I love We Are Brave Together. I just went to a retreat. I want to start a connection circle where I live. Or we get requests for particular topics and we start one. We find a leader and we start one.
Amazing, amazing. And you must have had a personal epiphany about we need to do this. We need to come together as women, or we need to come together in this way. What do you remember that moment? Or maybe it was a series of moments, but what made you kind of lean in to community?
Well, two things stood out to me early on in my journey. And one, when Ryan was diagnosed as a baby, my husband Chris and I jumped into support groups and conferences that were diagnosis specific, and we met amazing families and couples. And I had a mentor, and it just cemented in me the need for community. And then I also had experiences with friends who did not have children with disabilities or medical complexities, who just really didn't understand my journey. And I just really observed the difference of when I was with fellow caregiving moms and when I wasn't, or when I was with non-caregiving moms who really, really didn't understand and really didn't seek to understand what it was like. And I just saw how transformative and comforting it was to be with, as I say, girlfriends who get you. And so all of that contributed to me wanting to create a community where moms could show up. They didn't have to create it for themselves. I'm going to create it, and you just show up, and you can come here and be truly, genuinely supported and validated.
That's so needed, and I've been to a couple of the groups, and have not attended a We Are Brave Together retreat. So what happens in a retreat versus a group? What's the kind of structure and experience there?
Sure. So it's about 2 days. We start on a Friday evening and we end on a Sunday morning. We hire a speaker who's a therapist or a coach who is also a caregiving mom. We feel like that is very critical. And we open it up with just introductions and intention setting. We break for dinner, and then we do some games and some smaller groups for everyone to get to know each other. And by the way, our retreats are pretty intimate, 15, 16 total. We've tried everything from 10 to 35, and we feel that this intimate number of 15 or 16, including a speaker and a retreat coordinator, is just the perfect number. Saturday, we usually have two heavier duty content sessions, 90 minutes each, with a break and lunch in between. And Sunday, we wrap up with a closing circle to just really talk about what are we going to take back to our crazy, chaotic life? What is something that I can apply when I go back? And we really try to create a retreat where it's a balance of downtime and group time. And we always, always have our moms fill out retreat evaluations. And they have been so helpful, so critical to us refining our process over the last almost 10 years. So we value the feedback that we receive from our attendees, whether it's really a connection circle or a retreat or a special event.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't wait. I can't wait. And in along that vein, I think what we've been realizing is that there aren't enough therapists in the world, in the country or the world, to actually bring one-to-one emotional relief into these really kind of predictably traumatic experiences, right? But they're kind of chronically, this isn't just a moment in time, it's many months, sometimes many, many years, and even decades for our families. Um, so this idea of peer-to-peer support, right, has become very important. And that's the area that Raregivers lives in. We've spent 7 years, developing a methodology, the Raregivers emotional journey map as a talking tool, but not
Mhm.
a talking tool necessarily for therapists. It's a talking tool for people, just to talk to people, right?
Right.
So a mom to talk to a doctor, or a mom to talk to a teacher and say, this is my experience. So somewhere along the way, you made the brave choice to partner with Rare Givers. And what are you kind of hoping to get out of that partnership? What do you think that will bring into this amazing set of experiences you already have?
Well, I think the Rare Givers emotional journey map is going to be a great tool for our leaders, all our connection circle leaders, our mentors also, to hear and to absorb that material and to have that as a way to provide ongoing training and support for all of our leaders. I think it's going to provide so many talking points for our leaders as they lead their circles, and even just in having relationships with the moms in their community, so whether it's formal as part of We Are Brave and in our connection circles, or it's just in their everyday life, that they can share this tool that is so validating to our journey is going to be fantastic. We're happy to further that.
Well, good. So we're excited to partner as well. And in that context, leading conversation, talking about feelings, it's so important that we're inclusive of different cultural experiences in
Mhm.
medically complex families, and also multilingual expressions. So when you're talking about your feelings, you revert to whatever your native language was, what you grew up, speaking, and so that's one thing that we really hope to offer. We Are Brave Together, and to other of our Rare Givers Coalition members, is the ability to express feelings in different languages. So,
Mhm.
have you thought about doing a multilingual retreat or circle yet?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. It really
Okay.
hasn't. I mean, we've definitely been approached by people outside the US to start connection circles. And that would be wonderful. I mean, certainly our website, wherever you are, I think it translates into 110 languages. So we'll automatically do that. So we've done that with our website to help, our moms who are all over the world really access the rich content and the intentional content that we put on our website and Instagram and Facebook and our blog and all of it and our podcast. Um, we will cross that bridge when we get to it. I mean, if we were to do a retreat overseas and we needed a translator, we would do that. Or if a group arose here in the United States, yes, we would accommodate. We'd figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. So not putting you on the spot, just wanting to highlight, because I think we're so fortunate. We live in the United States, and we have really evolved partnerships, and certainly pharmaceutical entities and other investors in the care support experience.
Hmm.
Um, it's an area that we're constantly challenging ourselves at Rare Givers, and also very fortunate to have a partnership with Microsoft, where we're hoping that Microsoft can help get our methodology translated into not just 12 romantic languages, but 400 languages. You mentioned 110 on the website, right? With our static content, and being able to facilitate these live conversations. It's like
Hmm.
we're gonna keep pushing ourselves,
Good.
to do that together. So we'll think about that. Well, so maybe now we could turn uh, sort of a bit of attention to you, Jessica. So what do you do? What do you do to maintain your balance, and to refuel?
Hmm. Great question. Very important question. Since I'm always giving moms permission to take care of themselves, take care of their mental health, engage in true self-care practices, I must practice what I preach. And I always have. One thing I've always done is to carve out time to exercise. It's just really important to sweat out my stress. So that is an ongoing. Also, I've always taken breaks, and I just have created that from the beginning. I just always asked for help. I always asked for breaks. I always, my husband and I would take turns taking breaks. Um, the other thing that really, really helps me is just processing with a life-giving friend. So that doesn't involve leaving, it doesn't involve, getting away for a weekend. It's free, and I've really fostered life-giving relationships. And so just being able to share out loud what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, having someone else ask me questions, to be a good listener, to be full of empathy and care, that refuels me. Because it helps me get it out versus just stuffing it. And I think women are good at stuffing. I think we're taught to stuff, don't be too emotional, don't be too much. Uh, and yet, when we stuff our emotions, it blocks our access to happiness and joy. We think we're going to be better off because we're not going down a rabbit hole of emotions. But when we stuff, it really is detrimental. And so, other ways that really help me are to journal, just get it out on paper. It's a cathartic way. Certainly writing and sharing my story. I used to blog. Certainly now for We Are Brave, I do a lot of writing stories. I do a lot of writing, and that's very, very helpful to my emotional stability, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so you heard it from Jessica Patay, journaling, talking about your emotions, don't stuff them, and come together in community. I think those are all like so beautiful. And exercise. Don't we all need to find, don't we need to
Move
find
your body.
move your body? Well, and another thing you said, and the number one thing we hear from caregivers is I don't have time. I don't have time because there's this triage list of things
Hmm.
that have to get done. And these aren't the traditional parenting lists or mothering lists, right? This
Hmm.
is sometimes 24/7 medical management. It's often getting into conversations that you're unfamiliar with the healthcare industry, trying to get
Hmm.
insurance claims covered, these realities of medically complex care. How do you ask for help? And
Hmm.
who do you get that help from when you're asking for coverage?
Well, I think first of all, you have to believe that it's okay to ask
Mm.
for help, that it is not a sign of weakness. You are not meant to parent alone. Even if you have a great spouse. I have a great spouse. I have a hands-on spouse. It can't be just the two of us, though. There's no way that it can be just the two of us. So you deserve help. You deserve to ask for help. And it's only for your mental health if you ask for help. Not to mention just your relationships, your marriage, your career. We have to ask for help. Secondly, you know, we live in a state where we get respite hours. So we've always utilized that from the beginning. I didn't wait till I got to a place of complete burnout and compassion fatigue to then say, oh, I think I have some respite hours I could use or I should use. So we've just always done it from the beginning, but it's never too late. So if you're listening and you're thinking, oh, I have not taken advantage of that, I haven't reached out to the agencies, or I haven't used my own resources, asking family or friends or a fellow caregiving mom to swap favors with, it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. Uh, I think that moms, dads, caregivers across the world in any capacity need to believe that they are worthy of investing in their own mental health, and asking for help is part of that.
Thank you. It's so true. And coming together in community with other mothers, if there's a circle in your city, or even if you join virtually with We Are Brave Together, um, is one pathway. There's so many other pathways that in the United States, certainly Mental Health America, National Alliance of Mental Illness will if you can get past the name, because it makes it sound so stigmatized,
Right.
we'll offer 12 sessions of just someone listening once a week for 30 minutes,
Mhm.
without judgment, which is also
Mhm.
really important. And then certainly crisis text lines. So
Yep.
if your grief is taking you so deep into wondering why you're on the planet and you're thinking differently, please text hello 741 to crisis text line or 988 on your phone to get that support. Um, if you knew now, if you knew then what you know now, what would you sort of tell yourself beginning of the journey, sort of the pre-mom version of Jessica? What would you say to that young mom?
I would say that practicing self-compassion and taking care of your mental health is way more important than perfecting parenting techniques.
Mm. Any other thoughts that you would like to share with our audience today? They've had a peek into your world and
Sure.
a world that we're creating together as we go forward. Anything else that you'd like to talk about?
Well, community is for everyone. Community is the only way through. We all need people in our lives who have shared similar experience, who have lived what we've lived. It's so comforting. It's so transformative. It is so practical and helpful to have people in your life who really understand what you're going through, whatever that is, whatever the crisis, chronic hardship, caregiving, loss, divorce, trauma, anything. We all deserve that. We all need that, and we all benefit from being in community. And if you're struggling to figure out how to do that, I'm happy to help.
I love it. Okay, so the key message here, you are worthy. You've said it again and again, you are worthy. Please remind our audience how they can find you and your organization, Jessica.
Sure. Thank you. WeAreBraveTogether.org is our website. You can see everything that we're about, everything that we offer. We're on Instagram at We Are Brave Together. You can find our podcast on all the platforms, Brave Together Parenting. And our book is called Becoming Brave Together. You can find that on Amazon.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you. And I can't wait to get a hug, but I'll send you one virtually in the meantime.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Crystal.
joining.
Good to be with you.
Okay. Bye bye now.